Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Hive Student Series, so the Hive Webinar Student Series. This is the third episode in our Monetizing Your Hobby series. And these episodes and series and webinars we created specifically for students. And so we carried out surveys and asked students, what do you want to learn? What's going on in your lives right now? What are the new skills that you're thinking about? And so everything that we've done in the webinar so far, especially within the series, so we did an episode on baking, an episode on catering, and today is specifically on the wonderful world of events and event design. And to lead the session today, we have Shitima, who is an event designer and planner. And she'll just be taking us through this world of events and some of the things and misconceptions that people have about the events industry, right? So she's going to be telling us all the pros and cons of running an events business in Zambia, from the pitch to tearing down the event, right? And so a little background on who Mhlaba is. She holds a bachelor's degree in business administration with a minor in marketing. She has worked in various marketing and administrative roles and has well over 10 years of experience, you guys, in the events and hospitality industry. She has been the lead planner and designer at Lafay Classic Functions for the past 5 years and has coordinated details for events such as corporate events, Independence Day celebrations, state banquets, state funerals, weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, and employee appreciation events. She has helped realign the company to meet growing industry standards. For all of us, as we all know, that Lafay is a household name, and Mhlaba has been a part of refining and turning it around and giving it a nice new face and uplift, right, over the years. And she has grown the company. So we're going to hear from her today. She's going to share with us all of the things that she's learned, all of the things that continue to inspire her. And so if you're joining us via Facebook Live, please feel free to share your comments with us, to share your questions for her with us. We have a team that are ready and on standby. And all of you that are joining us on Zoom, please put your questions for Mhlaba in our question and answer section and introduce yourself to us in the chat section. So let us know where you're joining us from. Are you at uni or college? Let us know. Do you run an events business? We want to know all of that. So please do that within the chat section. So we're going to have Mhlaba present, and then we're going to go into a question and answer section where she's going to answer all of your burning questions on running a business in events. So Mhlaba, over to you. Could you unmute your mic, please, Mhlaba? We're unable to hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm back. You see, guys, life's not perfect. My internet went off and I had been so ready. I was punctual, but my internet went crazy. But I'm back here, I'm unmuted. I hope everyone can hear me and see me. And yeah, I am here to tell you what Google won't tell you about event planning and design. My name is Mhlabangubo Shitima. Thank you so much for that amazing intro, Sakai. Love it.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I'm going to start because I told Sakai I am so interested in hearing your questions. So I'm going to make sure that I run through my presentation and leave enough time to answer all your questions. These are my points of discussion today. We will go from the intro to the event pitch to behind the scenes of event planning and design to essential elements of event design and so on and so forth. I hope that you have your planners. You must have a planner and a notebook with you, and you'll hear why. So, introduction. My soul speaks in flowers. What does that mean? Just that. I have always had a relationship with flowers, and I love flowers because they are so fitting for every occasion. When a child is born, you can send the new parents flowers. When someone earns their wings, you can send their family flowers. Birthdays, Valentine's Day, just any occasion, you can gift someone flowers, and I'm pretty sure they will smile. If they don't, you can hand them over to me. So that's now leads me to my love affair with flowers. I have always had flowers around me because my mother loved flowers. She always ensured that she had floral arrangements in her home every single week. And on top of that, she owned a gift shop at UTH. It was called Lafe Florist and Gift Shop. So Lafe has been around for years. Since I was a little girl, it just evolved from being the gift shop to being an event planning and design company. I am just Sakai, sorry to venture off, but is everything clear on your end? I can't hear you. Okay, so.
Sorry about that, but yeah, it's clear on our end, yes.
It's clear on your end? Okay, great. Okay, so yeah, so my relationship with florals, with flowers started years and years ago. I never would have imagined that I would be designing timeless events today. That being said, who am I? I'm the life of the party. Like, I love to have fun. I give off positive vibes. I'm not always positive, but even when I have down times, I will always look for something positive to be happy about. I'm the girl who gets excited about finding a pretty planner or a pretty pen, and I love highlighters and I love glitter. Honestly speaking, that's who I am. I talk a lot too, but I promise I'm gonna stick to time. And yeah, so I'm overall a positive person. And to be honest, if you're listening to this and you are in the events industry, you're going to need to be a positive person because it's not always a bed of roses, no pun. How did I find myself designing timeless events? Okay, so Sakai has told you that I have a bachelor's degree in business admin with a minor in marketing. Okay, I never ever dreamt of designing events. However, that was God had different plans for me, because after I graduated from university, I moved back home and I was working for Regis. I don't know if any of you have heard of Regis, but yeah, I worked for Regis and I enjoyed it. Then I worked for iSchool and I enjoyed it. However, my family, my mother owned Lafe Hotel and Lafe Classic Functions. And unfortunately, our mother fell ill. So that's something you must note. I am not the proprietor of Lafe. It is an inherited business. Take note of that. I will get to it later. So she fell ill, she had cancer, and I had to quit my job to help take care of her, as well as help her manage the business because she did have a full-time job. That's how I found myself in the deep end of this floral pool. And at first it was really hard and I needed to learn how to talk to clients, how to send out quotes, how to design events, but I ended up falling in love with it. So that's how I started. And now I'm going to showcase my first event. I was a little shy about showing you guys because I'm looking at it now and I was telling Sakai, I'm looking at it and I'm like, cringe. But I'll show you the before and then I'll show you where we are now, okay? Whoa, they're not loading. No, Sakai, it's not loading. 1 second. Okay. I'm gonna try that again.
Let's try it again.
I don't know if my internet is failing me. I'm going to just give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm so sorry, everyone. can I stop share for a sec? Or should I just continue?
Okay, we'll give you like 30 seconds to do it.
Give me 30 seconds. I just need to figure out what's going on. I'm so sorry about that. 1 second. 1 second, Sakai.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm sure a lot of
Something
you
has gone terrible.
already have.
Sakai, I might have to just use it. Something has gone wrong. I might just
Okay.
have to use my PowerPoint. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Yeah, can we just do that instead?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, I'm so sorry about that. I'm so sorry.
That's all right. As long as we still get to hear your nuggets, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, I'm really, really sorry. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can. Oh, yes, and your throwback pictures.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm so bummed about that. But anyway, let's get on with it because I do want to make sure I keep time. So, throwback. This was in 2013. Okay, that's the first event that I designed on my own. I was thrown into the deep end. I decided to take on a client when my mother and my sister had traveled to buy more stock for the business. This was in Siyavonga. So if you're watching this and you're starting out, don't be in a hurry. Trust the process, because in the process, that's where the gems are. That's when you learn a lot about yourself. That's when you learn more. You will never stop learning. I am still learning. I spend a lot of time talking to people, in event designers in Zambia and abroad, and I learn from them all the time. However, we're now gonna go to the current decor that we do. So we've grown. Lafe has grown, the brand has grown. So we do weddings, we do bridal showers, we do birthday parties, we do, like Sakai has listed, a plethora of events, and we pay attention to detail. If you're watching this and you want to join the events industry, you have to pay attention to detail. That is the secret sauce. Okay, so let's get right into it. The event pitch. So at this point, the client has gotten in touch with you. They've asked you for a consultation to showcase the products and services that you offer. What do? Client research. This is what I always say, stalking isn't always frowned upon. You must stalk your clients. I do. I use Twitter, I use Facebook, I use Instagram, I use Google, I use LinkedIn. Don't be awkward about it. If a corporate client approaches you, don't go telling them about how you love their dog. It's gonna freak them out a little because they've contacted you from an organization. However, if someone contacts you for a birthday party, tell them like how lovely they looked on their last birthday and how you can't wait to do their next birthday. You know, so you need to learn to research your clients because it gives you more confidence as you're going to the first consultation. And my second point, very, very important. First impressions matter. You are the book that is going to be judged. If a client sees you, and I did this on purpose, and your nails look like mine, they're not going to trust that you're going to be able to plan a top tier event. They're not going to trust that you're going to be able to give them their dream event. So you need to make sure that you look the part, because in this case, they are judging the book by its cover. So I always say, if you're going to get ready to go to a meeting with a client, think of it this way: Big Brother is watching. And Big Brother is not only watching your appearance, Big Brother is watching your timekeeping, Big Brother is watching how you articulate, Big Brother is watching the etiquette. They are watching every move that you make. This is not to make you nervous. Don't be nervous, but this is just something that you need to make sure that you take note of. They are watching you because they are going to be paying you to bring their dream to life. Another thing that you should make sure you do is don't skimp on selling your brand. A lot of us, myself included, we always feel being boastful is frowned upon, whereas being humble is, oh, she's so humble, great. This does not apply to your event sales pitch. You need to show them you are the bomb. You need to take visuals. You need to show them your Siyavonga work, and then show them your your 2020 work, because then they understand the business, they understand that you're always growing, they understand that you're always learning. So you must make sure that you are marketing yourself well, that you're selling your brand. And you should also make sure that you are listening to your clients, okay? I actually skipped something that's very, very important. When you are selling your brand, make sure it's important that you run the client through the event from start to finish. Tell them what your vision is for their event. Tell them a story. Clients love to hear stories. However, make sure that each meeting you're going to, your client has signed an NDA. Trust me on this one. If you do not have a notepad, get one right now and write this down. NDAs are very, very important, especially in our business, line of business, because you're using your creativity. So what that means is that you could leave the meeting, they decide to go with another event company, and you will literally see your work displayed on Instagram, and it will hurt your feelings, because that's creative knowledge. So make sure you're going to your client meetings with NDAs and politely get them to sign them. My fourth point on the event pitch is listen to your clients, okay? Earlier when I started, I said that you must always have a notebook, have a planner, have a notebook, whatever it is that you prefer, but you must be taking notes, because you're going to need the notes from your meeting to work on your quotation for the client. Also observe body language and just get to know your client better. The stalking that you would have done is not it. It doesn't end there. You also have to listen to them and listen to the vision that they have for their event. If you have a planner already, you've passed the first test. Clap, clap. And then lastly, you need to, well, before I go on to the last point, I will give you this tip. You need to, at your event pitch, you need to identify extra opportunities that you can sell to your clients. For example, I'll give you House of Cakes. I'm sure you all know about House of Cakes. You all know Fazila. When I go to a client pitch, I know the relationships that I have with other vendors. So when I'm talking to them, I'll tell them, listen, book Lafe and I'll get you a good deal with Fazila. Or no, Fazila said she was busy. I'll be like, if you book Lafe, I'm gonna do whatever it takes to make sure you get a slot. We live in a world where business relationships are very, very important. So if you have those connections, those relationships with vendors, please use them. And lastly, and most important point of them all, is that you must deliver. Don't just sell a pretty picture, don't just wow them, and then after it's like, wow, she was so phenomenal, but then she hasn't delivered. Are you sending your quotes on time? And I'll be very honest, it's so hard, especially the busier you get, it's very hard to send out quotes on time. You're gonna have to do what you have to do. If it means pulling all-nighters, do it. If you are unable to send a quotation at the time that you said you would, please let the client know. Don't let them keep texting you, because it's frustrating for them. And yeah, so that's a very key point. And now we're going to move on to one of my favorite quotes. Some people look for a beautiful place, others make a place beautiful. So if you're going to make a place beautiful,
Hello, Mhlaba, are you there? We seem to have lost Mhlaba for a bit there. But please post your questions for her in the Q&A section. Like I said, you can find that section between the participant and chat button. So if you toggle to the bottom, you'll see it there. Post any of your burning questions. She's talked about delivering. She's talked about making sure you do your client research. So please post your questions for her there. Mhlaba, you back now? Hey. Your mic is muted. Hi, so Susanna is asking what an NDA is. Susanna, an NDA is a non-disclosure agreement. So it just makes sure that when you share information with a client or would-be client, that they don't take what you say to them during your meeting as you're sharing all your creative ideas, they don't take those and share them with somebody else. So like Mhlaba said, if you then have a meeting with somebody else, you decide they don't want to work with you, that they don't take all the things that you've given them and share those with another event designer or planner. So you just make sure that they sign that and you have that down pat so that you're protected. Mhlaba, your mic is off, it's muted.
Good to go?
Yes, we're ready for you. We can see your screen. It says what we can see is desktop. So there's a little folder there in desktop.
Oh my gosh, so you can't, okay. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's like, I feel like we need to do this again, you guys. Or maybe this is just forcing me to now have like a master class because I don't know why it's failing me. My internet is failing me, like everything is just, okay. Can you see my screen now?
There we go. Yes, we can.
Guys, say a prayer for me that nothing else goes wrong. Oh, okay. So I was saying behind the scenes. So when you Google the duties of an event planner, you're gonna get, the Google list of scheduling events and vendor meetings and site visits and going to venues and solving problems. You're gonna get that. The reality, hence me saying expectation versus reality. The reality is that you are Dr. Phil. I'm sure you're sitting there thinking,
Mhlaba, we're still on your title. We're on your title slide.
You're not on the scenes of event planning?
No, we're not.
Oh,
so maybe if you just click through, then we can see it. There we go.
Can you see it now?
Perfect.
You can see it?
Yes, we can. So we're seeing behind the scenes of event planning and design.
Okay. So yeah, so I hope you got what the expectation is and what Google will tell you. The reality, like I was saying, is that you are Dr. Phil. There's a lot more to the job description of being an event planner than just the things that I listed. You are Dr. Phil. What that means is your clients, whether they're corporate clients, whether it's the bride and the groom, they're always leaning on you to come up with solutions. And sometimes the solutions are not even in the issues that you're going to have to deal with are not even in your job description. For example, we've had so many situations where I'll have to deal with a bride whose mother-in-law says her wedding colors aren't great and she doesn't like them, and she'll come and she's sobbing. And so you end up turning, yes, oh my gosh, Sakai is looking like, huh? So we deal with putting out fires. We deal with keeping our bride calm, because you see, when the bride is calm and when she's excited, that makes my job easier. So it's a lot more than just what Jennifer Lopez does in the wedding planner. There's a lot more that goes into having a successful event. There's so many moving parts, and that's why I put up this, because everyone thinks that we have the best job in the world because of what they're seeing on Instagram. What you don't see on Instagram, and this is a very, very important point, is one, the fine print, okay? What is the fine print? The fine print is the contracts. The fine print is the NDAs, the non-disclosure agreements that I talked about earlier. You must have contracts in place. You must have NDAs in place. For example, if we did not have contracts in place that have been looked over by lawyers, we would have been in a lot of trouble when COVID hit. Because then if your contract doesn't state what happens with your termination policy or what happens when a client wants to postpone an event, we would have been stuck. So it's important, especially now. Right now, we have gone back to the drawing board with our contracts. We've gone back to the drawing board with our NDAs, simply because now because of this pandemic, now we need to know how we would handle our business in the event that it happened again. So if you are already in the events industry, please make sure that you're taking this time to go over your contracts, to go over your NDAs. And my second point is you're fired. I was laughing with Sakai because I was like, oh, Sakai, I'm not Donald Trump's favorite person, but I do love how he says you're fired in The Apprentice. Why did I put that here? It's very important. Why I put that here is to make you guys laugh, but also it's very important that you understand that and this is not strictly limited to the events industry. It's important in any business as an entrepreneur that you understand that you are at liberty to fire a client. What does that mean? If a client is not able to adhere to the policies that you put in place for your company and they are not willing to they're not willing to adhere to those policies, you're more than welcome to fire the client. However, this does not mean that you're rude to the client, you exchange words with the client. No. You have to find a diplomatic and respectful way to terminate your contract with the client that makes the client feel comfortable. For example, give them a refund, and makes you feel comfortable, for example, not doing the event. Because in our line of business, now back to the events industry, you need to have good vibes with your client. So I call it vibes are everything. Okay, write that down. Vibes are everything. If at the consultation, if during the event planning stage, you're not vibing with the client, it means that the end product, it will show. It will show, and you don't want to do that because you need to protect your business. So make sure that you are maintaining your contracts and what your policies state. And I promise you, we have fired clients before and we've gone on to have amazing relationships with them in the future, because when they're coming back to us, they respect us, they respect our policies, and they respect the way that we work. Okay, I'm going to try and speed up so that we still have time for questions. So now we have the mocks versus the final design. When you go to a mock table, and I'll tell you this, if you're in the events industry, not all your clients are going to ask you to do a mock-up. Some clients, if they've done business with you over the years, they'll just say, do the event, we'll show up, okay? But if you're going to do a mock-up, if you're in the events industry or if you want to join, make sure you always tell your client that this is not what the reality will be. That's not to say it's not going to be beautiful, but it just, when you're doing a small setup at your offices and then you go off to Ananda, it is going to be different. So you need to prepare them for that, and you need to make sure that they understand this. You always have to be ready to work on the spot, because you can do 10 site visits, you can do a site visit every week, but on the day things might change because you've got all the moving parts in one room. So always be quick to think on the spot. We're going to talk about money. Ka-ching. Target market. I need a whole masterclass for this. I'm so mad and I'm so sorry, Bongo Hive and everyone online, that my internet and everything went crazy. But I will do a masterclass because you need to understand your target market and you need to stick to it. Okay? Do not feel shy. What am I saying? I'm saying that lower prices attract lower level leads. Okay, higher prices attract higher level leads. Who do you want to cater to? When you're starting out, it only makes sense that you start out with the lower level leads, okay? Because you need to earn it. You need to earn the higher level clients, because you cannot go to a higher level client now when you're starting out today and say, oh, I'm going to give you this, and I'm going to give you that, and you don't have the budget for it, you don't have the experience for it, because it's more than just the tablescape. So it's very important that you figure out who your target market is and you cater to them. And I promise you, when you pay, it will show. I always tell clients that. You can always tell. Sakai, it looks like you're laughing, but it's true. yeah, you always have to ensure that you know who your target market is and you know where to position your brand. Pricing and discounts. This needs a whole masterclass. However, I will tell you this. Before you send out a quotation, make sure that you have covered all your costs. It's very embarrassing and unprofessional for you to go back to a client and say, oh, the supplier for the flowers has increased her prices and I didn't know that. So now we're going to have to top up. No, do not be that person. Do not let me down. Please make sure that you've gotten your pricing right. If you have an accountant, if you're in the industry and you're grown and you have an accountant, make sure it goes through the accountant. Make sure that when you send the quote to the client, that is the final quote, unless they want to add on or take off anything, and then you can go from there. Also, if you're starting out, please feel free to discount. Feel free to give your clients discounts. We've been in the business for over 10 years and we're still giving out discounts, especially to loyal clients, clients that have been supporting us over the years, okay? Pro tip for anyone starting, charge less for your services when you're starting out. However, don't charge too little, because it's funny, clients, if you charge them too little, then they'll think that you're not able to deliver. And if you're starting out, you must do pro bono events. Get your name out there, because you'll see on like a slide later, I believe in word of mouth over any form of advertising. That is the best form of advertising, okay? Where do I draw my inspiration from? Bonus. Instagram. I love Instagram. I love Instagram more than I do Pinterest. I just feel like Pinterest is just very Pinteresty. So I love Instagram. I love movies. I could literally be watching a movie and it's totally not related to weddings, and I'll see something, then I'll be like, oh wow, I can incorporate that on a tablescape or at an event. And travel, if you can. When you travel, try and talk to people in the industry. Shoot your shot. I shoot my shot all the time on Instagram. I promise you, I will, whether they reply or not, I will always just shoot my shot, because you never know who's going to respond to you. You never know what you might learn from them. And now moving on to essential elements of event design. I hope I don't feel like I'm rushing it. I'm just being conscious of the time because we did lose some time. I will be available to answer questions at any point, even after the webinar. Just shoot your shot.
Thank you.
So
could you click again so we can see your essentials slide?
can you see my essential slide now?
No, we can't. So maybe if you just like slide again.
What can you see now?
Behind the scenes.
Oh my goodness, you didn't even see my, oh gosh, I can't deal, sorry. Can you see the bonus, where do I draw my inspiration from?
No, not yet.
Okay, can you see it now?
Perfect, yes, we can.
Okay, so that's where I draw my inspiration from. And now I'm going to move on to this, oh gosh. Now I'm going to move, can you still see it?
Yes. So
okay.
We can see your bonus. Where do I draw my inspiration from?
Can you see the essential elements of event design?
Not yet.
Oh my goodness. I'm so sad. Can we do this again? Oh my gosh.
Yes, we are going to do it again. You've said already twice that you're ready to do a masterclass, so we're going to do it again.
Okay, so can you see the essential elements now?
Not yet. We can see on your right slide that says space, lines, and forms, light, color, texture, and pattern, and florals.
Perfect. Perfect. Hold on, sorry. Perfect. Let me just get back to it. 1 second. Can you see it?
Not yet. So we're on your title slide right now.
What about now?
Now we're on space, lines, and forms.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to just go back when I move on to the other slide so that you're able to see it. So space, lines, and forms. I have placed on the right-hand side of this slide, I have placed my picture of a wedding that we did at Nda, and that's what I'm going to use to explain the essentials of event design. So space, lines, and forms, okay? The importance of site visits is so that you understand the room. I have done so many events at Nda. However, we always make sure that with each new client that we get, we always go back because every client has their own vision for their event, and we're going to have to work with that vision and not the last vision that we used. So it's always important that you do a site visit, and also floor plans. They are so essential because you need to know where the DJ is, where the food will be. That will help you with the overall design and feel of the event. Then lines and forms, okay? For example, at Nda, you'll notice that the tablescapes are long. They're estate tablescapes because those are the best tables to use in that venue. That's how we form our lines. That's how we get the order. In most venues, you can do a mixture of round tablescapes and estate tablescapes, but that just doesn't work well for Nda because of the space. What is the form? The form is the features of the room. The pillars. Does the room have pillars? Does the room have a Buddha? Nda has a Buddha, which would work as filling up form or as a statement piece for a client, a Buddhist client. Unfortunately, for our clients, it doesn't work. So we know that we have to cover that. And when we cover it, we need to come up with a statement piece. Sorry to bring Fazila up again, but usually in Nda, we always use the baker to give us a statement piece or a statement feature, okay? So you can put a dessert station right in front of the Buddha, or one thing that we did that I absolutely loved is right in the middle of the venue, we had a car that had desserts on it. So that is what form is. You must always think, what is going to wow the clients? What is going to wow the guests? And then it's also important to take into consideration the light, the color, the texture, and the patterns. So in this picture, you'll notice that we have up lighting. So it's not just white with the natural light hitting the room or from the chandeliers. They have stunning chandeliers, by the way. But we get a lighting company to use up lighting so that it complements the overall decor of the room, that when the candles are lit, so stunning. Colors, oh my goodness, we need a whole other webinar for colors. They are important, they are the key. You need to know as an event designer or even as an event planner, if you're working with another decor company, because event planners can work with other companies. You need to know colors. You need to advise your clients. Do not be afraid to tell your clients that she cannot have black and blue and yellow and pink in her wedding. Like, that's what she's hiring you for. You have to advise her. You have to tell her about mood lighting and what colors are going to complement the overall decor. In this picture, you'll note that the color palette is burgundy with champagne and gold accents. That being said, we had to match the color palette that's on the tablescapes with what the lighting company was using for the lighting, up lighting. Then we have my favorite part, the florals. The truth about sourcing flowers in Zambia, you can. Are they great? Not really. Our buds here are tiny. I wish I had like a bud from Zambia and a bud that's imported from South Africa, just so you could see the difference. But if you follow me, you'll be able to see, I always post the difference. And I personally, I like big buds and I cannot lie. So it does upset me when our flower order comes in and the buds are little. What do we do? Each event company has their way of doing things. As Lafe, we talk to our clients and we tell them, these are your options. You can have flowers from Zambia. We can source flowers from South Africa. It does cost you more. So to make sure the client is comfortable and we are also comfortable with the product that we're giving them, we use both. Okay? We use both local and imported flowers and we design them as seen in the picture. We used a mixture of local and imported flowers. That's why they look bigger. And the art of floral design. If you are going to join the events industry as a designer, I am begging you, invest in your florist, because that is the selling point. That's what's going to complement your tablescape. It's not just the linen, it's not just the cutlery. And back to texture and pattern, you'll notice that on one of the tablescapes, we have a champagne overlay that's plain. And then on the one that's closer to you, you'll see that it's champagne still, but it has pattern. All these things come together to give you a beautiful event. There's a lot more that goes into it than just pick a tablecloth and put glasses. And there's a lot more that goes into it. So now that I know I have to minimize this, I'm gonna do this so that we don't lose more time and go to the event planner's honeymoon. Can you see the screen, Sakai?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay. So
you can still see on the right side.
I can't hear you, you're breaking up.
I was saying we can still see space lines and forms, but we can also see your slides on the right side.
Okay, so I'll just go on. The event planner's honeymoon. When you hear about the event planner's honeymoon, you're probably thinking, oh, do they get to go on honeymoon with their clients? Is that what they mean? No, it's not what we mean. While they're off to Bali, we're still here. I wish I could go on honeymoon with them. What happens after the event's over? What happens with the event planner's honeymoon? I'll tell you now. I call it the aftermath. I'm gonna see if I can maximize this and if you can see it. I hope so. So the aftermath, what entails the aftermath? Tearing down of the event, okay? After the pretty pictures that you see on Instagram, what's happening is that after the event, we strip it down with the vendors, with the venue, and with us, Lafe. We tear it down, table linen off, everything is packed. And the flowers, we always gift the flowers to the clients and their family members and friends, because I mean, they paid for them. And we always ensure that a week or so later, we get client feedback. Please write this down. It's very important to get client feedback because that's the only way you're gonna learn and that's the only way you're going to grow, okay? You can ask the bride on the day and be like, oh, did you like everything? And she'll be like, yes, yes, yes. I mean, she just got married. Like, of course, like you need to wait for the euphoria to die down. Okay, because once the euphoria dies down, then you're going to get more constructive feedback from the client, and never ever shy away from asking the client to write down their feedback, because you might go to your sales pitch, to your events pitch and sell yourself, but it's always nice for a bride or a birthday girl to read a testimonial from a previous client. And then Sakai asked me, she's like, you get separation anxiety? Yes, Sakai, I get separation anxiety. Why do I get separation anxiety? And now I'm giving you guys the source. As Mhlaba, and I told her this, personally, I get separation anxiety, and Lafe employees in general get separation anxiety, mainly because our business entails us being very close to the clients for like a year. You know what I mean? You plan weddings for like a year or 2 years. And in that time, like I said, you're Dr. Phil, and then you are, I don't know, like a very popular hairstylist. Think of Kim Kardashian's makeup artist or hairstylist. Yeah. You are literally putting their entire event together. Everything depends on you. So they consult you. Do you like this dress? I tried on my dress. I don't like it. I think I've gained weight. So you create a bond. Yes. Yes, Sakai. So you create a bond. And then when like they go off and get married, it's like, you guys just left me and now I'm here alone. So I actually give myself, like after planning an event and designing it, I actually give myself time to get over that. The beautiful thing about that is you create long-term relationships. I'll give you an example. We have a bride and groom and they get married and we do their events and we plan it. And then they have a baby. So when they have a baby, they're thinking, oh my gosh, of course I want Lafe to design my baby's first birthday, because you've created a relationship. So in as much as tablescapes are beautiful and you can be the best florist, the best event designer, it's very important to ensure that you're keeping and maintaining your relationships with your clients. My next slide, I do not know if you can see it or not, you guys, says, P.S. It's not all rainbows and unicorns. That is so
okay,
true.
we can see that.
Yes. Did you see my little unicorn, guys? So it's not all rainbows and unicorns. What that means is, do not get into the business of events if you do not understand it. I'm going to repeat that again. I'm going to text it to you if you text me a question. Do not join the events industry because you think it's rainbows and unicorns, because you see the glossy pictures on Instagram. There is a lot of patience that you require. There's a lot that goes into it. I honestly would advise you to intern first. Find an event company that you look up to, intern first, and see if it's something that you even want to do. You know what I mean? Because once you get into it, you're gonna see that oh my goodness, I cannot even believe I get 8 hours of sleep. Like, it's incredible. Like, thank you, COVID, I guess. Because when events are going, when it's wedding season, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't eat. Grab bottle, like, let me drink some water. Sleepless nights. I have a son. Sometimes I probably won't see my son all weekend. And then when I'm home on Sunday, I just want to sleep all day. So please don't get into it if you're not ready. Most certainly, if you're watching this, you've got a job and you're looking and you're like, oh, Mhlaba just looks so glamorous designing events. Let me quit. Don't do it. Give it a test run, because it will take up a lot of your time and it's going to be the biggest part of your life. During this downtime, before I move on to my next slide, during this downtime, I've actually had a lot of time to spend on myself, okay? So yeah, so that's what I'm going to say about that. Bonus, how did we grow our brand? Like I said, Lafe has been in business for over 10 years, and I am telling you, put in the work. Do not start today and think that, oh gosh, like you do your first luxurious event and you're like, mama, I made it. No, you have to put in the work, because it's going to be so much more worth it when now you become a household name. I won't lie, you guys, and I'll tell you this, and I'll be very honest. I am sitting here very proud, and I hope my mom is proud too, because her dream came true. Lafe is a household name. Sometimes I'll literally they call me the Lafe girl. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? So just trust the
You are the Lafe girl.
Trust the timing and word of mouth. This is the slide I was talking about. I hope you can see it. Word of mouth is very important. Do not do an event. Do not leave a client unsatisfied and just be like, oh, I took their money. Who cares? On to the next one. No, 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 no. Make sure that your clients are satisfied. And when they're not satisfied, figure out a way to fix it, because that client is going to tell the next client and the next client and the next client. So word of mouth is very important. So is Mark Zuckerberg. Social media is everything. You don't have a social media page right now, but you do events. Honey, we're not going to find you. You have to invest in your social media. You have to pay for your social media ads. And I don't know. Okay, so this is how Lafe started. Word of mouth, social media advertising, TV, radio, print. And also we did one bridal expo and we would do more, but I'm not too sure if TV and radio are still, well, radio is still it, but I still would invest in TV and print advertising. But then again, we've been in business for over 10 years. So you just need to figure out what works best for you. This is what worked for us. And this, oh my goodness, I'm so sad, because initially this was going to be like a pretty video with like our pretty wedding in the background while I answer questions. So yeah, do I still have time to answer some questions, Sakai, or no?
Okay, so right now we have 4 questions.
Okay.
And we've got a question also from Facebook. Thank you, Mubu Mutumba, that's joining us via Facebook Live. We're going to take that question as well. We have about 10 minutes before we go to close.
Okay.
So we're going to get into it. I'm going to read you the first 2 questions. So we want to try and make the answers concise enough so we can get through all of them, all the questions that we've got so far. Okay, so I'm going to start with the questions that have been shared in our question and answer section. And Mashimi says, it's very hard to sell yourself when you are starting out, especially when there are all these other event planning events put there. What advice can you give on that? So it's very hard to sell yourself when you're starting out, right? And you see all of this stuff going on and all of these lafayes and people like that. What advice do you give to somebody that's just starting out?
Be honest. That's like the best answer I could give you. Be honest. Sell yourself. Be honest. Tell the client, my name is Jane, and I'm starting out, and I know that I don't have as much experience, but I'm willing to learn. I'm willing to do this for you, and also show them something. Because also, yes, you're right. There's so many people doing events, and they're doing amazing events. So you need to start practicing. Before you even start talking to any client, you need to practice. You need to, invest in good photography, do a tablescape in your living room and take pictures of it and go and show the client. Because then the client, you might find that because you're honest, the client actually wants to work with you. So don't feel intimidated by Lafe or whatever other event companies you follow, because I'll be honest with you, even Lafe looks at someone like, oh my gosh, wow, look at Preston Bailey. You know what I mean? But that's not going to stop me from going out there to get a client. So yeah, even if you're starting out, just be honest with yourself and be honest with your client. And the clients will keep coming. That's the best answer I can give you. And practice, practice.
I'm going to combine two other questions from Mashimi. So Mashimi is asking, yes, you said discounts are good when you're starting out, but sometimes it's hard because it can cut on your personal costs, right? And the second question was, you said that you inherited Lafe. How long would you say it took before the company took off in terms of being a household name and things like that? So yes, discounts are good, but they sometimes cut into your personal accounts, right? And then how long would you say it took? So we have questions coming in now. Guys, please post those in the question and answer section. And Mhlaba, if you could, so that make them your answers a little shorter, just so we can get to all the other questions that are coming in.
Okay. No problem.
Thank you.
So discounts, yes, but if you do, that's the thing. That's why it's important to understand your pricing and how you are. Before you even get to giving a discount, you have to make sure you're covering your costs and you're understanding your pricing before you give out the discount. So again, back to that, it's about understanding your pricing. How long did it take for Lafe to become a household name? I would say over 5 years. Like over, I don't like, that's a tricky question, but I would say over 5 years, or maybe even over 10 years. I feel like Lafe is like, I don't know how to answer that one, Sakai, to be honest, but I think over 5 years is the safest answer that I can give you, is when we saw that Lafe was becoming a household name.
So an anonymous attendee has asked Mhlaba, or is commenting, Mhlaba, maybe someone needs to create an app that can give the client a mock-up visual of the decor. So that was just a comment. And I'm sure there are some that exist, don't they, Mhlaba? Maybe not locally.
There are some that exist, but you need to understand, like, even for me, I want to see it. I want to touch. I want to feel. I want to. So the app, I'm sure there are some that exist. There are websites that exist. There are apps that exist, but the client will still want to see like live visuals.
I want to touch it.
Yes, like I just want to touch my
linen. So I'm going to take the one from Facebook Live from Mugu, and it says, looking at the current COVID situation, how are event planners adapting? So please let us know.
Well, I have. As soon as I realized that COVID was right in our backyard, my brain started buzzing. So as soon as that happened, I started doing Zoom consultations with clients. And just recently, now that the numbers are rising on a daily basis, we are offering mini monies. What is a mini money? A mini money is, just like the word says, a smaller ceremony in case you don't want to have the reception. So smaller ceremony, it can be 10 people, it can be less than 30 people, it can be 5 people, it can be you at Civic Center. So we're offering that service, and we're also offering micro weddings. A micro wedding adheres to the regulations that have been brought forth by Ministry of Health to just have 50 people at your wedding, 1 meter spacing on the table, making sure you've got sanitizer, making sure you've got masks. So we've been on it. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of other companies are stepping up to the plate too, because we have to carry forward. We're not going to just let the industry die. No way.
Thank you. And thank you for that question, Mubu.
I
think it's
question.
quite a pertinent one. Yeah. Nomzana's asking, Lafe is a household brand with events at the core. Do you see yourself scaling and expanding into other business opportunities? And if I become an events business owner, what does growth look like?
Oh my gosh, of course, Nomzana. Okay, so other opportunities.
We're getting more questions, so we need to go quicker. Yeah.
Do we have more questions? How much more time do we have?
We do. Let me just do a quick check. So we have 4 more minutes.
I answer Namzana's question. So what does growth look like? Well, we've got no choice, Namzana, right now but to grow. So I have actually been, and I'm not obliged to share right now, unless I make all of you sign an NDA. But as Lafe, we've realized that the event industry, we don't know what the future holds. We don't know if we're still going to be able to have bigger events. We don't know if everyone's just going to want to have micro weddings or mini monies. So as Lafe, we've already started thinking of our 5-year business plan. I can't get into it right now because it's still, like I said, I'd have to make you sign NDAs. But I can answer that privately, Nomzana.
Thank you. Mashimi is asking really quickly, do you take interns?
Yes, I do actually. I don't know why I had stopped to think about that. Yes, we do. Okay. But what I have said is we do not want to take on interns unless when you're interning with Lafe, after your internship is done, we're able to send you out there and be proud, like that's our girl. That being said, in order for us to take an intern on, we would have to make sure that the timing is right and that I have enough time to be able to teach the intern and then send them out into the events industry confidently. So the answer is yes.
Thank you. So we're going to take 2 more questions and then move to close. At which point you're also going to share your slide that has all of your contact details so people can take those down.
Start sharing now because technology is failing me. Don't be like Mhlaba. Make sure your app does not fail you for your presentation. I'm so mad. Can you actually see my contact info?
We can. Thank you. Thank you. So the last 2 questions are from Kavanda. In a nutshell, Mhlafa, loving the event, too many gems. What essential tools, equipment, and skills does someone need in order to start event planning and design? That's the first question from Kavanda. The second question is from Abigail, and she asks, I have a passion for events management, particularly wedding planning and decor, but I have a full-time job and I have bills to pay. I would love to intern and learn all there is to learn, but how do I balance the dream and real life?
Oh, I love these questions. Are you sure we can't extend the time, Dick? Okay, so the first question was, what essentials do you need to start? First of all, no-brainer, capital. You cannot go into the events industry without capital because you're going to need to have some stock, some inventory. So make sure that you have some inventory. You are actually, if you're sitting here and you want to join the events industry now, you're luckier than my mom was over 10 years ago. You know why? You can rent linen, you can rent event pieces. Yes. Yeah, so if you my contact info is on the screen, I hope. So you can send me a message, send me slide in my DM, slide in my personal DM, and then I'll be able to direct you to event hire companies. So you're lucky because if you don't have as much capital to build your inventory quickly, you can always hire and start slowly. And I hope that answers your question. And you need to also, like, you're gonna have to learn to build experience on the go. But I would suggest that you start talking to event planners, event designers that you look up to now, to just help you along the way while you save up money to have your own inventory. I always advise that people should have their own inventory, because then you're at liberty to do events at any time. The second question was juggling a full-time job and starting events planning. Honey, my mom did it and she had a very demanding job. You can do it. My sister did it and is still doing it. What you need to do is just divide your time, and also be honest with yourself about your hours. So you've got your 9 to 5. On the weekend, dedicate your weekends to event planning, dedicate your weekends to event design. If you connect with an event designer, do you have a wedding this weekend? Can I come and shadow you? Online, you can find so much online. I know I captioned this, what Google won't tell you, but there is a lot of information on Google. There's so many webinars taking place right now within the events industry internationally. Join them, sign up, pay. We're doing it, you know what I mean? And even though we've grown our brand, we're still doing it because you never stop learning.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Mhlaba. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you so much for sharing your contact details on the screen. Thank you for taking the time out to share with us. We know the internet was acting up a little bit, but we stuck through it and we got so many gems. So many.
So let me tell
thank
you something before.
Yeah.
So I was feeling bummed as I went. I hope everyone is still on. I was feeling bummed because the app that I used to design my PowerPoint, which I was so proud of, it let me down, okay? So, and I just feel like, so I told you guys in the beginning that I make everything a positive, even the failing internet and my app failing me. So then I have to use my saved PDF because I'm running out of time. I feel like this happened for me to tell you that is the lesson of being an event planner. Things are going to go wrong. You must be Olivia Pope. You must fix it. You must move swiftly. I just feel like this was a setup.
We had this planned.
That is the last gem of the day. That is what my job is about. Okay, so the DJ's not here. What are we doing? You know what I mean? So this right here, guys, take it as an example. I am very bummed, and you're going to feel as bummed as I do right now that things didn't flow smoothly. But at the end of the day, I hope that you've learned something, and I'm so glad that you stuck it out.
Kawanda says, Lo, I love the conclusion. Thank you, Kawanda, for sharing. Everybody's really been cheering you on. So even Given had said, no, it's not you, it's the internet. It's not your fault, it's the internet.
Given is my #1 cheerleader in life.
So thank you for doing this. Guys, thank you so much for being a part of this webinar and being here and staying engaged. Thank you for everybody that's been joining us via Facebook Live and sharing your questions and following. That was amazing, you guys. I shared with you the link to our webinars and to our WhatsApp group, a growing group of student innovators. So if you're a student online with us today, you can click that link and join our WhatsApp group. If you want to go back and see these gems again and get into it again and take all of these lessons, you can find this webinar at the end of the day on Bongo Hive website on our webinar page. So you'll see on demand, and that's where you see all of the webinars that we've had before, and you can go back and just really digest all of this information that was shared today. Thank you. Thank you so much, Clara. Thank you for being with us today and taking the time out. Thank you, everybody, for staying engaged throughout,
Thank you for
whether
having
it's
me.
live or here on Zoom. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, wow. Sakai, is it just us two?
Yes. No, we still have 5 people that are logging out now.
Okay, I'll wait. Don't log off.
No, I won't.
And tell me when it's just us two.
Okay.